Round 3, fight.
Yeah.
I'm so tired.
Official, unofficial, official, unofficial, official, unofficial. It's definitely not official. Official, unofficial, official, unofficial, official, unofficial. It's guess.
Hello and welcome to the Official Unofficial podcast. My name is Ben. Please be excited. With me today in the top left-hand corner, we have the one, the only, our tribesman.
Hello, Ben.
What's up,
How's it
Al?
going?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm very excited for this episode.
This is going to be a great one. I think we're all tired. We're all feeling it. It's going to be a great time.
Yep.
And in the top right-hand corner, we have Erica.
What's up?
What's happening, Erica? How you doing?
I am fantastic. How are you?
Great. How you feeling about today's show?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Are you Remy?
ready to go. I am ready to go.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that. So today we are
wonder how
talking
long
about
we can keep that going for.
as long as possible. Remember, use the hashtag Justice for Remy, okay? Today we are talking about New Girl episode 16. Control is the episode. This one aired March 13th, 2012. It was directed by Jesse Pertez, written by Elizabeth Merriweather, Brett Bear. Oh, yeah, Bear. Sorry, the writing's tiny. Dave Finkel, Berkeley Johnson, plus obviously a whole bunch of staff writers on this one here. So let's get into the recap. So we kick off. We see a car pull up next to an obvious pickpocketer. Inside, we find Schmidt, Cece out for a late night birdie call, far from the loft. They get into a disagreement about their argument. They get into a disagreement, and Schmidt leaves the vehicle. Cut to the loft where Jess and Schmidt argue over if Jess should be allowed to keep a piece of pine furniture. Jess found pine furniture that Jess found on the street while Nick and Schmidt discussed their poker game from the night before. Jess and Schmidt continue to argue, and we get a real great moment here where Jess acts out a scene with Tahitian vanilla and regular vanilla. And then things escalate when Schmidt breaks Jess's pine hutch. Jess takes Schmidt for a walk where Schmidt attacks a kite. So we see this section for a little bit throughout the show. Obviously, this is where Schmidt will end up later on, but all sorts of interesting stuff happening around this area. So this is kind of like is it a marketplace? What did you guys, is this just kind of what it's like in sort of beachfront LA or?
I don't know. I've never been to LA, but it kind of reminds me of boardwalk style kind of thing, like Ocean City sort of. I've been there. So kind of just like food vendors and street performers and stuff like that. The typical along the beachfront, things like that over here in the States. You'll see it in, more populated areas, touristy stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. I definitely didn't see anything like that when I was in LA, but I mainly sort of, when I was at the beach, it was probably more Venice Beach, that kind of thing. But yeah. Anyway, Nick and Winston talk about money. Nick owes Winston obviously a fair amount of money, and they agree to a one-time amount of $200 to settle his total debt. They head back to the loft where they'll continue to fight about money, and it's here that we learn that Winston has seen Nick's mum naked. So pretty important fact there. Schmidt tries some new things and throws off the balance of the loft. We get this very interesting Schmidt that we see for the rest of the episode. Nick and Winston fight in a supermarket in a very masculine way by slapping each other. Okay. Jess and the gang talk to Schmidt, and natural order is restored to the loft. Is pretty much the entire episode here. So first off, let me kick it over to Erica. Erica, what do you think about this episode?
All right. This episode is pretty funny. I feel like this felt like a filler episode to me, honestly. But I also think it shines a lot of light onto why Schmidt is the way he is. I liked that it started out with Cece first telling him he needed to lighten up a little bit, and then it kind of kicked into the whole with Jess bringing in the pine furniture and him kind of freaking out about it. So it really tied the whole thing together from the actual very, very first intro piece throughout the whole entire episode, which was kind of nice. But I mean, it was a fun episode, but I just that's about all I got from it. Like, I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny seeing Schmidt be completely different from his normal, very uptight, like crazy clean, everything needs to be perfect control. But like I said, it was kind of cool also to see that side of Schmidt and to kind of find out a little bit why he is the way he is. So that was pretty awesome too. So yeah.
Nice. And Al, what do you think, buddy?
I like this one. Maybe I'm biased in the sense that I understand OCD and I do understand where that comes from. And if not directed towards things like what Schmidt directs it towards, maybe it'll go to an extreme into something else. But I get this episode. It could have been done better, but I love it. They could. There's a lot more to explore there. Let me just say, is how I felt about it. But it's a good one. I like it. Relatable.
Cool. Yeah, no, I'm probably kind of somewhere in between both of you there. I kind of thought it was all right. I thought there were some great moments. I thought there was some probably weaker moments, and kind of what you were sort of alluding to, Eric. I kind of thought it was kind of a little bit of a nothing episode. We don't really sort of at the end of it. We don't really, we haven't really learned too much. Yeah. Schmidt's just back to his old ways. He just has that quick flip, and then he's straight back to where he was. So, but obviously that's just kind of sitcoms in general, really, isn't it? So you're going to get a lot of that. But who knows in the future of this? We might get a lot more development over the course of some episodes. We'll have to wait and find out. But yeah, I think there's some funny moments. There's some good moments. But all in all, I just thought it was kind of an okay episode for me personally. But yeah, I mean, you saying that actually kind of makes me maybe a little bit higher than I thought, because when you sort of mentioned obviously channeling that into different things and how that might work with OCD, that actually probably makes me relate to it a little bit more now, because it's not something I really considered. But yeah, no, I thought it was.
No, it's very real.
Yeah.
Like, it's exaggerated, but it's very real. Like, it's normal for like that to just be replaced with something else and just
take over his life.
Yeah.
Nice. So obviously this episode's very Schmidt heavy, so maybe we'll just kick it off straight into the douchebag jar. Al, tell me, what do you got in the douchebag jar there, buddy? What do you want to throw in there? What have you got on your list?
Well, I'm gonna keep one of mine because I know you guys are gonna have it on your list, so I don't want to take that away from you. But I'll do this one. I definitely want to do when he says I can take a tetanus shot, but I can't cure damaged suede.
It's
as
perfect.
Shoes, yeah. And I also a personal favorite of mine, I don't know why, is just when he's trying to explain to Cece that it's dangerous to take walk out with the shoes, and in that same scene, he says, "Look at that guy. He's clearly new homeless." New homeless. Yeah. I don't know. That kills me. I don't know.
Nice. And anything else on there?
There's the one that I'm if you guys don't mention it, I'll bring it back up. I'm pretty sure I know for a fact you guys have it on your list.
I have a feeling I know what it is. I'm going to say it because it's one of my favorite lines I think that Schmidt has ever spoken. But no, I'm holding it. I'm holding it till the very end of mine because there is, hold on. Yeah, I got a couple. There were so many good Schmidt lines. This was a Schmidt heavy episode. Yeah. There were so many good lines. He had a ton of them, which I was great because I don't have basically any lines for anybody else. So I did have the take these and take care of them. I can get a tetanus shot, but I can't cure damaged suede because it's hilarious. Pine has no place in this loft. It's the wood of poor people in outhouses, which I just...
Is that not the line you were referring to, Al, in Erica?
That was the line I was referring to.
Really?
I'm guessing that was
Erica. It's not the one I thought.
That's
no,
so good.
It's so
that's
good,
even more exciting.
That's my winner, I think.
So good. I did love I would really appreciate if your non-Tahitian vanilla was not touching my Tahitian vanilla, obviously. Yeah. I'll have to reinstate my ban on high-waisted shorts, which is just stupid. This thing makes me emotionally nauseous, which I can understand on so many levels. I can't remember exactly what he was talking about. Oh no, it was the cabinet. It was the cabinet he was talking about. And it was hilarious. And then there's two lines. The one at the very end of the show, which was Calvin, you magnificent wizard, when he's talking about the pants that Jess got him. But this is my favorite line, and I can't believe it's not the one that you picked. I'm going to go take a shower with Nick's bar soap like a common ranch hand.
That's pretty good.
That's my favorite line in its entire episode.
Okay.
It's so good. It's so good. And I mean, like I said, there are so many great Schmidt lines in this episode. Pine has no place in this loft. It's the wood for poor people and outhouses. But I'm gonna go take a shower with Nick's bar soap like a common ranch hand kills me so much.
That's definitely douchier. I agree with that.
That's my
100%.
line. So
I pretty much had all of those. The only thing I don't think either of you mentioned was I've got the slippiest loafers on. Did either of you say that?
no, but it's so funny. I didn't pick it just because it was so close to the moccasin one or the damaged suede. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to personally go for the pine. But I'm happy either way, honestly. Honestly, they're all
both
fantastic
great.
ones.
We can always just toss them both in this week because those are two fantastic. And it is a very Schmidt episode. I think the jar deserves 2 lines this week.
Nice. Love it. Love it. Now, there's a segment that we have normally after the douchebag jar about a particular character. Do you know what segment it might be?
Is it about Winston?
Is it Winston?
What's up, Winston? So this is the segment where we talk about our favorite Winston moments. Let's go. Who did we go with last time? I think it was Al. Right. Let's kick off with Erica. Erica, what do you got for Winston?
I only have one line from Winston, which made me laugh so hard, which is because in my mind, your mom will always be the winner of best boobs. Yeah, Masters Division.
That is a great line. If you can have one line on your list, I'd say it should be that one.
That's got to be that one.
What about you, Al?
I have one that might even belong in the douche jar. Is when he's talking to Schmidt, trying to convince him to get back to normal. He says, "I even miss your hair chutney," and he pronounces it exactly like Schmidt does. But my winner for Winston is when he's drunk in the bathroom at like 10 a.m. or whatever time it was. He says, "I know." When questioned why he was drunk at that time, he says, "I know what it'll feel like when I stop, so I'm just gonna stay a little drunk forever." So that's like came out of nowhere. It was like, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Winston's drunk all the time, but hey, I'm here for it. Sure.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, I think I had a lot of those on here actually. I've also got I think it's at the poker game where they've had a bit to drink, and then in reference to what's on the back of Nick's back, and he says, "Those aren't cannons, Jess." Is that the one? Oh no, what scene's that from?
Yeah, that's it. Because I have that for Jess's line. Yeah.
Yeah. We've got the line here. If I'm reading the section, then then I can only assume that you told me to relax, in reference to obviously when they were reading Nick's letter that he's obviously prepared for Nick. That's extremely long when you look at it, which I love. And then finally, I've got I have a few accounts that I'd like to settle. Account number 1, a $15 receipt for a Chinatown box turtle. And he's itemized everything. It's so good and so Winston. So that's what I've got on my list. What are we going to go for the winner this week? What do you reckon? I'm pretty happy with any of these lines. So if anyone's got any really strong contenders.
I think the one I had, both me and Erica, was the mom. Yeah.
The mom.
Let's lock that in. I like that.
Masters Division.
Yep, Masters Division.
That's great. Perfect. Well, that's our winner for this week. Now, let's talk about Nick Miller in this episode. So, Nick's tips. What have you got, Al, on your list there for Nick's tips?
I love when they're playing poker and he's like, "I'm all in Uno, bitches."
Yes.
So good.
I love it. I've got "Don't push me in a supermarket, man." Like, it's so random. I love it so much. Another random but hilarious one is also all a crystal is rock poo, Schmidt. I've got a couple more, but let's see if you guys don't mention it, then I'll bring it back up.
Sounds good. Erica, what do you got on your list?
So I have we don't awe in this family, which I thought was hilarious. I also had all the crystal is rock poo, Schmidt. And then look, I need you, Schmidt. Okay, I need you to tell me what pants not to wear and to exercise more often. I need you to make fun of me when I call a panini a hot sandwich. How am I
That's
ever going to learn?
I love that one so much.
So funny. It's hilarious.
Yeah, that's the winner that I had on my list.
And then the last one I had was, look, Schmidt, if you come back to us, I'll let you clean my room. And then Schmidt goes, the white whale. And then he goes, think about how many dust bunnies are under my bed, how many stray socks. And it's just, yeah. That was a good line too.
That's great. That's great. I had the only last line that I have left here is the I just got why they call it ants on a log. They look like ants on a log.
That's good.
Such a Nick line. Alder, do you have any on there that we might have missed?
That's the last one was
That's the last one?
yeah. Also,
Yeah,
my personal favorite. They're all great, but the panini hot
The
sandwich thing
panini
is
is
just
fantastic.
Panini. That's
so
unanimous. The
hilarious.
Panini's the winner. Congratulations, Nick. The Panini line. Fantastic. Now, Jess. Let's have a chat about Jess. Let's talk about some of her favorite lines. Erica, do you want to tell me about some of the lines that you've got down there for Jess?
So I actually only have one line for Jess as well, because like I said, I really think I probably just hyper focused on Schmidt this episode. But my line from Jess is, and why do you have cannons drawn all over your back? Long stem mushrooms? So that's not a mossy cave? Yeah. That little group of lines right there was my Jess line from this episode.
The multiple guesses as to what it could be.
What is on Nick's
Beautiful.
back?
That's
Yeah,
great.
that's mine.
And now, what have you got, buddy?
I've got that one. I've got it's a broken ecosystem dominated by an apex predator in reference to Schmidt.
Yes.
I've got you're like aging ballerina, child chess prodigy, professional magician crazy.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
And my personal favorite one has to be you can run
Don't
away
speak
from
it
your
out.
problems. Well, you're gonna find new ones that pop up like hepatitis. What? Great advice. I'm sorry.
Somehow I missed that.
So good.
I hope it was delivered exactly like that in the show. That's great.
It
I
was
thought you were going to
so
steal the line that I
sincere.
had. Are you all out?
No, that I'm all out. These are all the ones
yes.
I have.
I'm all out.
So I've got the line from Jess. He went back to twirling his fire baton. He's really
Yes.
bad. He burnt a lot of people. That was
That's
my
great.
favorite.
God.
Jess line. Can we
So
pick a
good.
winner? Can we pick a winner?
Oh.
I like that line you
I
did.
like the
I can't believe I
hepatitis
missed
one.
that.
It was
Yeah,
so
the
out of the
hepatitis one is
blue.
great. Yeah.
Let's go for hepatitis.
Hepatitis it is.
We're pro hepatitis.
Jeez.
OU is pro hepatitis.
Oh no.
Get your shots or whatever they are for hepatitis, please.
Please.
Ben, I'm helping you out. Now you know what to break out. For the socials, you
Oh,
know?
I love this show. All right, so that's Jess. Let's get on to our MVP, our most valuable player, our All-American hero. Erica, who's your most valuable player? This episode?
So this episode I picked Schmidt because yeah, Schmidt, he really, I mean, obviously he was the main point of this episode. Originally I was leaning towards Jess, and I'm like, nah, she just screws everything up. This is not Jess's episode. I definitely went with Schmidt. He does he lets Jess talk him into being someone he's really not, and then like thankfully the group finally brings him back around, and he just stays true to who he is. Wishes a Calvin Klein loving guy who wears dress pants when he sleeps. So, shout out to Schmidt for staying true to who he was in the end. But yeah, I'm picking Schmidt.
Nice, love it. And now, what about you, buddy?
I don't know how Schmidt is MVP, but for me, Jess is MVP because I have it written down here.
No.
Jess for fixing Schmidt after breaking him. That's
She
what I
broke
have
him,
written
though.
down.
She broke him.
She broke him, but she fixed him. Schmidt wouldn't have been able to fix himself without Jess.
What about
Maybe
Nick?
the rest of the gang. True, but like Jess did most of the work after doing the
Like
damage.
usual.
She made it
Yeah.
so bad, though, dude. She kept going
I
down
know.
that rabbit.
I know. She didn't know what she was getting herself into. Like she doesn't know the monster that
She
Schmidt
was
turned
warned
into.
multiple times by the real MVP.
She was. She was.
Oh no, the real
real
MVP.
MVP was
Nick.
Nick is the real MVP here. He's the real hero. He's the one that offers up the room clean. He didn't want to have to do that. He warned Jess multiple times. In fact, I think they just about all did, not to upset the natural balance of the loft. So I'm going Nick.
But he
So we're gonna-
failed. He failed at
Did he?
the message didn't make it through. Like just couldn't understand. So
He couldn't have been more clear. I mean, it's Jess, so she's going to do it anyway. So yes, maybe he should have blocked and stopped her from.
I don't know. I vote Jess. What are we voting?
I don't think we're gonna come to an agreement this week.
You know what? I honestly don't care with this episode, to be honest.
Yeah.
It could be anyone. I'm happy for anyone to win. So if someone is really passionate about it,
Honestly, I even like the dreadlocks chick on. She's great.
yeah, let's go dreadlocks, Jack.
She got Schmidt to come over and start playing the drums.
Yep.
Yep.
He might
That
have
I
burned
can
it,
agree
we
with.
don't know.
Let's go dreadlocks chick. She's
Yeah.
MVP this week.
MVP dreadlocks, Jack.
Okay.
All right, so now it's time for us to get to the real nitty gritty. Let's actually get down to our final review of the episode. Now, I really want to know what you think in more detail. How many Schmitties are you going to give this? What are your final thoughts on the episode?
I want to go with an 8, just a solid 8, because it tries to do something great and maybe doesn't. In terms of execution, could have been better, but still manages to have that come across in the episode. Like I related to that. There's enough for someone like me to be able to pick up on that and relate to. So in terms of just the Schmidt thing and his psyche, I like that. So I'm okay with it. It's not the best episode, but I think it did its job.
Cool. I respect that. I respect it. And Erica, what do you think? What are your final thoughts on the episode?
Well, I was gonna give it a 6, but Al kind of convinced me to bump it up to a 7. One of the reasons I love doing this show in particular is just because I love seeing it from everyone else's viewpoint, and that's a view I never saw from before. Honestly, like it's definitely something to think about, and I kind of like the episode a bit more now, hearing just both of your opinions on the show and everything else from this episode. So I'm gonna bump my score up to a 7. Still probably not my favorite episode, but definitely better than some of the more recent ones. I think at least it held the main story point pretty well. Honestly, I think just my biggest issue with most of these episodes that have been from season 1 so far is still just the B storyline, either just not being strong enough or being probably stronger than the A storyline in some cases. But yeah, in this one, like the Winston and Nick money thing. It's just kind of like, okay, I could take it or leave it. But yeah, no, the whole the Schmidt storyline in this episode I really do love. So I'm gonna give it a 7.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna bump mine from a 5 to a 6 for that same reason. Obviously, just hearing Al's viewpoint around that, and it's not something I really sort of paid too much attention to, and because I guess, like you kind of said, Al, like they probably don't deliver it in the best way. They're probably also trying to pull it off as more of a comedy type situation, than more of a serious one, which is obviously the show. That's what they obviously at the end of the day they're trying to do. But yeah, no, I'm going to bump mine from a 5 to a 6. I think there's some good moments, but I think all in all for me it fell a little bit flat compared to some of the prior episodes. But yeah, no, that's what I'm going to go with there.
I can relate to what you said, Erica, about like just the balance. It's either a good A storyline and just nothing, or like it's the more of the balance is what we're having in these episodes being the issue, not just the storylines themselves. I don't think.
Yeah.
Mm.
I feel like it definitely gets better towards the end of season 1 and in later seasons. The balance is definitely there much more. And I can't wait to get into that with these episodes. But yeah, right now I feel like, I mean, we're only on episode 16. It's not like, we're that far into it. It's not like we're 3 seasons in and are still having issues balancing the episode storylines. But, it's just, something they got to work out at the beginning of a show, and they do eventually. It's just, getting there. So.
And I think too, when this came out, I mean, when you think about TV series as a whole, it was pretty rare to get some of these shorter episode TV seasons. Whether it's anywhere between sort of 6 to 10, like you can quite often get now. It almost feels like they might have stretched it a little bit too thin. But I think you're right. It's almost like they're trying to give some people just busy work for the sake of just having a storyline. And some of these sort of mid episodes, but yeah, great strong start for the season. And then I think, like you said, Erica, not that we know officially, but towards the end of the season, I think we might get some real strong ones as well. But I think we're kind of at that point now where maybe it's just getting through some teething problems with that first kind of season woes that you get through some shows. But I still think it was pretty solid for the most part, but it just didn't hit on all fronts. Yeah.
Heck
Oh, good. Anyone have anything else that they do want to say about the episode, or is that pretty much everyone's? Oh no! Kitty down!
She's fine. Cats land on their feet. She's fine.
I was terrified. Oh, I was so scared.
Mine didn't the other day when he pulled my wig box down while we were playing D&D. Just saying.
Oh, I remember that.
Cats.
So that is our review for New Girl, episode 16, Control. Before we head off, we have our segment Jake Watch, where we need to check in and find out if there's any update or news of our end. Hopefully, if Jake has heard of us and if he knows about us and he's wanting to come on the show. So, Erica, Al, have you heard any news? Is there anything? No.
I'm checking right now. I can't find anything.
Sad.
It is sad. So sad. Sad face.
Very sad face. Oh, well, there's always next week. So remember, hashtag let Jake know. Okay. Before we officially sign off. Exactly. Now, before we officially sign off, we also need to check in with Hey Girl, what you doing? So, hey girl, what you doing now?
Oh, I got new coffee beans, right? So I'm trying to combat that with getting new vitamins. So I got some new multivitamins as well, because coffee apparently is not that great for you. So kind of have to balance it out with something, and a lot of liquid IV as well.
Nice.
Which I'm a huge fan of. So hydrate when you dehydrate is the message here, clearly. Yeah.
Indeed.
Make sure you hydrate, people. Awesome. All right, so that's about going to wrap it up for the show. But before we go, Erica, have you got some stuff that you'd like to talk about for the OU Pod Patreon?
Heck yeah. So don't forget to check out our Patreon over at patreon.com/official_unofficial_pod. We've got a couple tiers over there. You can start out at just $1 if you can support us. If not, no worries. We have plenty of other ways you can do that. If you want to tell them how they can do that, Ben.
Absolutely. You can head over to the oupod.com. We can get all your links there for your podcasts. Yeah, obviously YouTube. Yeah, that's pretty much it. One thing that would be pretty important to do, if you can do, please go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That really does help us out, help us grow, and help us get out there to, have some new people as well that can listen to the show, which would be awesome. So, yeah, if you can do that, that'd be fantastic. And Al, what about you, buddy? Anything that you'd like to say before we sign off?
Check us out on the podcast services and give us a good rating if you would like to do so. That would be very nice. Highly appreciated.
That would be amazing. Alrighty. Well, thank you, everyone. Thanks to my amazing co-hosts, Al and Erica, and thank you all for you beautiful people for listening. That has been today's episode of the Official and Unofficial New Girl podcast. I've been your host, Ben, And until next time, keep it unofficial.